Hi everybody, tonight I will show you how I did my leftover yarn at. First I will cast on the machine by starting by one black needle on the machine. No matter which one you use, just use one because it's the place that the counter will count the numbers of rows. So it's very important to use a black needle to start. And the recipe is 5 waste yarn, 5 plus 10 plus 2, and you reach to 120 rows to end your at. So you do the first row of your casting by going on and one in the front, one in the back for the first row. I did it very slow so that way you will see how to use the cast on. So open the yarn feeder, put your yarn in it, and very important to close back your yarn feeder, because if you don't, it will probably broke your needle. So I will do the 5 waste yarn like this, and I will choose one blue. That will be the head of a new color, your project yarn. So I go slowly, put that close to the waste yarn tail, and I will just crank a little bit to make sure those machine grab the needle, not the needle, the yarn. And I did the waste yarn for a hat. I know you don't do a waste yarn for a hat, but it's only to show you how to install a lifeline at the end. I will remove it. It's only to show you different tricks during the video. I did a lot of tricks on this one. So for newbies or beginners, it will be just fine. So now I will add a new color. When you do a color change, you will have to attach those two together. When you add your project yarn after waste yarn, you don't attach it together because it will be harder to remove the waste yarn at the end. But when you do a color change like this, it's very important to attach those two yarn together. There. So I will continue the hat with 2 and 5 and 10. Doesn't matter which order you use to do it, but I just did that to use all the waste yarn that I have, the blue and the copper tone color. So we'll put that a little bit faster because you already seen how to do a color change. If you didn't get it, just reverse the video and go back on the color change. I put it very slow when it's important part, so don't worry, it won't be going that fast all the video. The video is 11 minutes, so it's not that long. So I will show you a little trick soon. So you did already seen the waste yarn cast on, and now you see I rolled the project. It's because it was touching the table, and when your project touched the table, you could end up with drop stitch due to the tension on the needle. So very important to roll it when it's touched the table. So I did that again, and my cast off part was not good, so I decided to use a cast off from another video. So don't worry if you see it's yellow yarn color, but the important thing is the cast off, so don't worry about the color of the project, okay? So I continue like this till I reach 120 rows, and when I reach the 120 rows, I will end up with the cast off. To do the cast off, very important to cut your yarn. Make sure you got enough to remove all the stitches like this. Close the yarn feeder, and now you will crank the machine so that we will release it from the machine, and then you will be able to go get your first stitch next to the tail of yarn that you end up with like this. The next one to your left on the video, but in your right when you do it. So we'll do that a little bit faster. Very important to grab all the stitches, because if you don't, you miss one, you will end up with a drop stitch. And you will see how to fix it, because I have a drop stitch during the video. So that's another trick that you will learn to fix. It's very easy, don't panic. So you remove all your tube and it end up like this, so you stretch it and then you will go and close both sides. But as you could see, I have a drop stitch here. So easy to fix, don't worry. You get your hook and number 4 or number 5 or something between that, and then you turn your project like this. You go and grab your stitches and make sure you stretch your work a little bit like this and reach the next row, so that way you will got that stitch and go get the other one right here and another one. Hope it's not too fast. I did that on purpose, put it very slow, so that way for newbies are not too comfortable to fix drop stitch, you will be able to see how to. So I didn't grab the other one because it's the lifeline, okay? So I put my hook on it just to hold the stitches when I close the tube. Very tight. And then with the wool needle, I will go and twist like this a couple of times, maybe 5, just to put the yarn tighter and be able to blend it in the closing, so we won't see any yarn popping up. Okay, so then I will mix it with the stitch around like this, and then I go and close it, and voila, you did the first one. And now I will show you how to install a lifeline, so that way you will be able to remove the waste yarn. I repeat, the waste yarn was not a thing to do when you do a hat, but it was only for teaching you a trick how to install a lifeline. You grab 1/2 of every stitches like this with the wool needle, and I use the same yarn that I have in the hat, so that way. And that could be used when you do not have any counter and you end up with a longer tube, so you could install easily like this a lifeline. So grab all 1/2 of the stitch till you reach the starting point, and when you do, you will attach those two tails together and make a little bow for now. And now it's time to remove the waste yarn. For the waste yarn, you just remove the first row like this. Very important to take your time. And sometimes your yarn could divide and get stuck together. That time you use some scissors. It's happened. So I remove all the stitches, not the stitches, all the first row like this. And then I will be able to just pull on it to remove all the orange there. And here it got stuck. I will cut only the orange fiber. Don't touch the copper one because it's your project. And you see, it's happened, huh? So now you see I remove the bow. I will pull on the copper yarn to close the tube. Very gently, I will do a double knot right here. I just pull a little bit on the yarn before I do the knot. Cut it, and I will hide it inside. And I will show you how to close the hole in the middle. Very easy. You don't panic when something like that. I have this part coming 2 times. Sorry for that. So I will go around the hole, grab some stitches, and then pull like this, and it's magic. Voila. Then you put your hands in it, you reach the other end of your tube and go with your wool needle, go in the middle and reach the inside middle and the outside middle. And then when you do that, you will be able to secure your hat by attaching those two tails together very strong. And you do a double knot, and then you'll be able to hide those two tails in the double layer. There. As you could see, there's a little bit of different texture. Texture. It's because of the yarn. The yarn was not the same thickness, so that's why there's a little bit of texture on my hat. But it's okay. It gives you some character hat, and hope you have learned some little tip. So I wish you a good week and see you next week for a new video and pattern or a trick.